really... Okay, I'm hoping that people can hear us.
I would assume so.
I would assume so.
No one's on there, but...
Are we live? How do you tell?
Go back to...
Oh, there I am. We're live.
Awesome, so click on that.
Do I click on it?
Yeah, so now should come up, so then click on the full screen.
Here?
Yep.
Continue watching while using Facebook? No.
Yeah.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Click to enlarge.
Click to enlarge,
Okay,
and
so
then
now we
comments
can
on the
see
side.
comments. Okay, so we're like being like technically
Somewhat
tricky,
professional, yes.
right? Maybe we should check to see if we can actually hear us.
Chuck a comment in there though.
Why have I got to put a comment in for?
See if it comes up here.
Okay, hello? This is like super tricky. There's no, why is there no comments? Oh, there I am! Hello! This just is not cool because, hello?
Howdy.
Hello, who's there we cannot see?
Probably you, because you're the one.
Oh, that's me!
Probably.
I love that.
Excuse me.
This is so cool. We're just getting ourselves sorted here.
We are. Give us a sec. We're still getting somewhat sorted. Yep, cool. Awesome. So mute that.
So that's muted. It's really bizarre
Awesome.
because I can see me here and I can see me over here. However, hello. We can't even see who's on though. Hello to, see, I'm not those three people. I'm only one. Why doesn't it come up and tell me who else is here?
No idea.
Oh, well that's yucky. So, hello to whoever's there. Because when we did it, because we're on the iPad.
We are on the iPad.
As opposed to we're on the phone last night. So when the phone, oh look, here we go, Brother Dion, how are you, my brother? When we were on the iPhone last night, whoever came up we could see,
Yeah,
whereas we're...
It'll still come up now because we can see Dion here as well as he's doing.
Right, okay. Oh, it's tricky. Like technologically challenged in this family, I tell you. It's me. So I appreciate the loves and the hearts. Thank you. I'm feeling like, hello Miss Lizzie, hello Candice, how are you? Oh look, I feel like a professional, I have to tell you, because I got screen here, I got screen over here, now it's gone, oh my god, like I'm feeling as though I'm like professional, so. We putting makeup on soon. Actually, hell no, because that makes me want to pull my face off, so. I clearly need something, hello Candice, I clearly need makeup that doesn't make me want to pull my face off because I have an allergic reaction to something that's in makeup, and as soon as I put it on, burns my face.
Dion, we are getting very professional.
Absolutely.
Using 2 gadgets now.
2 gadgets. Oh my god. Next we will have like 3. Like that will just be like.
Christy, did you go see your grandmother?
Hello Miss Christy. Loving you.
Did you see your
Hug the
grandmother
kids
yet?
for me. Did you see your grandmother or not? So I will have professional lighting and stuff soon. We might even have a background. Oh my god. So we've come up with the name like, so I think I'm Big K.
You kind of did.
I did. I came up with a name because you have to have a name for it. So
Oh,
I'm
it's got
kind
like
of
a
like Lil Cat. No, I'm Big K Lily.
Something like that.
So Talkin Mess with us because Son talks mess quite a bit.
Something like that.
I talk very sensibly. So coming up with a name. So we were thinking about that. If you've got some sort of idea about a name, that would be really cool.
Any kind of avenue that we can think of, because we're stuck. We're not good at that.
Naming stuff is not our strength. Clearly, like speaking about mess is absolutely our strength. However, naming, black chat. Oh, I love that. Black chat. See, this is why.
This is why I told you to put it up.
This is why. Well, I didn't know that they would be able to name it. Hello, Greta. How are you? Oh, I like that. Why are you writing it there for? Like, you couldn't write it on a piece of paper over there?
No.
See, I just come to my office and makes a mess and stuff. So, thanks everyone. I'm Karen.
I'm Eldean.
Thank you for joining us. This is our second.
Indeed it is. Number 2.
Number 2. Deuces.
Number 2.
So we're just having a really good time talking about stuff. And we had heaps of people on the other night who was listening to us, which I so appreciate because we thought we might be here talking to ourselves. Turns out there was actually quite a few people who were.
A little bit of people on.
And so we greatly appreciate that. So we were thinking about what we could literally talk mess all night. and that would clearly be entertaining, we know. But we thought that we might share some stuff that might be helpful. That's okay? In between there, what are you doing?
Here, don't do something.
Oh, see what's happening? It's hard to find good help. Are you tagging yourself?
I'm gonna tag myself.
He's tagging himself. That's so tricky. Okay, why? So now all my things gone.
Yeah, then just go up to the black exit.
See, you didn't want to do that at the beginning. Lucky I love ya.
Don't touch me.
But don't say that. I'm your mother. I'm allowed to. Got my wine and my feet up. Oh, look, you are in. Corinne, you are in for some fun conversations tonight, let me tell you. And you may actually need quite a bit of alcohol to get through this because, I'm joking. It's going to be fun. So hello, Mr. Brian Down. How are you? Love you, my brother.
Daddy, what's going on?
Simone and Kelly, welcome. How are you?
Wait, did you contact Roxy because she wanted you to? Anyways.
Oh my god, it's so funny. It says Eldean joined.
Yes.
Yama, my brother. It's so weird. I can see that Eldean joined.
Yep.
So, Miss Shirley James. Is that like Shirley? Or is that a different Shirley?
No.
Because Shirley's Shirley. Anyways, so we're going to have a yarn tonight about leadership. We're going to talk about leadership in a healing context. Hello, Miss Joanna Grant. How are you? Joanna Grant? Sorry, not Joanna. I don't know where I got that from. Yes, she did. She did that. So we're going to talk about leadership to heal. We're also going to have a yarn about social and emotional well-being. So we're going to talk about that in the context of male, female, family. So that's probably going to be the context. We're probably going to talk a little bit of mess in between there as well. I'm probably going to tell Son to stop it and get away from there, leave it alone, because that's generally standard.
Probably going on a couple of tangents.
Probably because, a tangent or two is what we are renowned for, because this is the second one we've done, and we did several tangents on the last one, so therefore it is highly probable that we will go on a tangent or two this one. So you went on several tangents as well. Don't even try and make it about me. You so didn't. You were just like weaving like that. That's how you go in the car when you drive, like weaving like this. That's how the tangent thing happened the other night. So we're going to go around down that road. And anything else that comes up, like we're just gonna
wing it.
Trust the old people. They're going to guide us. They have guided us. Hello, Mr. Ollie Kickett, how are you? They have guided us to come here and talk mess to you, for you, with you. We don't talk about you. We're going to do all of those things. So the old people have guided us to come here and have this conversation with you. And to those 9 people who were wrong, thank you very much, because the old people have guided you to come here, which I really appreciate. Miss Mel Bolger, how you doing, sis? Okay, so we're going to have a conversation right now about leadership, particularly in terms of leadership to heal. So talk me through your idea of what leadership is, sir.
Leadership is obviously leading others, depending on you and your what you want to happen. Could be both good and bad. But needs to make the tough decision to get you and your team towards a common goal.
Right, okay.
No matter whatever that may be.
What about you though, in leadership?
What do you mean? What about me?
Well, you're talking about your team.
Yeah.
But where does the self come in the team?
Well, everyone's a leader in some aspect of the team. There are different positions in leadership, so you can lead from the front, where you have to pave the way. If we look at what Jordan did, every single time he went out there to be the best. But yet sometimes, very rarely, he would take...
Can you sit still? You're rocking, you're making me seasick.
Close your eyes.
I'm sitting on the live stream with my eyes closed. Seriously.
Yeah, he'd take a step back, or not so much a step back, but he'd get others to step up in certain areas, because he may not be a specific whiz in that area.
Right.
So other people who were a little bit better would need to step up. So you can lead from the front, you can lead from the back, you can lead from the middle. in some areas where people are lacking, you may have to step back from a leadership role, delegate a new leader, and go and help those who are maybe falling behind or showing different tips, tricks, and technique to get them back into the middle or at the front of the pack.
Can you learn leadership from a book?
I think it can. It gives you. I think you can. I haven't. I don't. I think I've read maybe a total of like 6 books in my whole life. I'm very much an audio book kind of guy. But everything that I got from leadership was through sports, watching both good and bad. Family members did what worked for them, what leadership evolutions that they took, and I used to take all those on, whereas as I got older I needed to whatever road I wanted to go down, I needed to pick and choose what was the best leadership for me and what outcome that I wanted.
Right, okay.
What about you? You think leadership can be done from a book?
I think that you can learn... hello, Miss Natalie. I think that you can learn strategies which you can only ever implement in action. So I can learn like all different kinds of strategies to think, so what am I going to do in that situation? But I think that it's kind of like learning how to swim.
Yeah.
You can read a book on the stroke technique. You can learn, like, when you're laying on the ground before you get in the water, like, you can be doing the swim, stroke stuff. You can be just, like, thinking you're Ian Thorpe, or, I was going to say that American guy, but didn't he get caught smoking drugs, so we won't say him. You could be somebody who's a fish.
It's legal now.
Huh?
It's legal, isn't it?
Right, okay. Well, he's still got... That's him, but he still got done for it back when it wasn't legal.
He's the greatest swimmer ever.
He was taking dope. That probably helped him. Like, he was just like, I'm just going to chill in the water and I'm just going to see how it goes.
His lung capacity was better.
It's kind of like, what's his name?
The man won...
Who was the pedaling guy?
Lance Armstrong.
Lance Armstrong. Probably the same kind of natural talent that he had.
He was smoking weed and he won 11 gold medals.
Who?
Michael Phelps.
Well, probably helped him to be able to go faster.
You could some people take drugs and they just sit on the couch.
Oh, I cannot believe that you were trying to say that it's okay for him to smoke dope and win 11 things. Like, just...
If he was smoking crystal meth, totally different.
How do you know that didn't give him that extra capacity for his lungs to open so that he could then be swimming like he's faster?
I don't think out of the whole sporting industry of swimming, I don't think he was the only one.
Well, we'll talk about Australians. Cheating the system. So you can learn to swim on techniques and strokes and stuff like that, but you literally need to be able to get into the water, exactly the same as riding a bike. There ain't no way that you're going to be able to balance yourself until you actually get on that bike and nearly fall off and skin your big's gone. Like, that's just it. So I think leadership is exactly the same way. And I think that when it comes to leadership, we don't generally think that we're good at leadership until we get into the place where we can practice leadership.
Sure.
And then the only way that we get better at leadership is to practice it, which means that we need to get... So it's that cycle of, I don't want to be a leader, but then I need to be a leader so that I can learn how to lead. And then you have some people who just absolutely, like, love leading, and they won't give anybody else a chance. But that doesn't mean to say that they're actually good leaders either. They might just be thinking that they're the bee's knees and the cat's pajamas, that they can be like, oh.
Yeah.
So I don't think that you can learn a whole lot. I mean, the concept that most people go for, like leadership programs and stuff like that, is very much about that. Okay, this is the strategy, and then from that strategy, now we're going to put it into place, and this is what it looks like. And so that's where usually how any kind of program that you go to is that you learn something, and then you go, okay, does it work? Theory side of it, absolutely.
Yeah, very much.
And then having the understanding as well about the theory side of it is that everybody takes that theory completely different. Like, I'm a completely different leader than you are. Your father's a completely different leader than us. Like, everybody leads differently. And so it's about, so how do we lead while understanding that we're all different. Like, how do we lead knowing that, hello, Miss Jessica. How do we lead knowing that it's okay to be a different kind of leader?
Yeah.
Like, if I have to make myself like you as a leader, well, then I'm always going to be judging myself as going, oh my God, like I don't lead like Eldean, so therefore, I shouldn't be a leader and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said that everyone's a leader within the team. So you may have the big alpha dog who sees over everything, but you need to be a leader in all that you can be a leader in. So if it's you do something really well and that's your superpower, boom, like lead in that area, lead in your lane. You may not be the best, tallest guy, but you can do something different. So that's why him being a leader in that will then eventually come back and help the team.
Right, okay. Do you think that you can change the way you lead?
Yes.
Right, okay. Jessica says, yes, we all have our own leadership gifts. Absolutely, absolutely. And I'll tell you an interesting thing about that as well, and we'll get back to that in a second. I was looking at, you know how you have, like, photos taken for your...
Yearbook?
No, not yearbook. What are you, 12? No, for... like your Facebook profiles and stuff like that. And I was looking at a photo and there's one of me and I'm holding a cup, you know? And so I'm just like holding it, and I'd seen that photo because some of the boss dogs, the big wigs, the gurus that I follow, they actually have those branding. Absolutely. There you go. Thanks, Jessica. Couldn't get that word out.
Jessica.
Gosh.
With the
Brian
voice.
Demery, look at you. Okay, well, I'm going to block. Brian, we're going to be blocking you. True God.
You must have a public profile because he's not my friend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my profile's open so anybody can get on.
There you go.
Because isn't he your friend? He's not my friend. Okay. Somebody friended him.
Yeah, someone.
And so, I forgot what I was talking about. I started branding. And so I was had that photo taken, and then I had a look at it, and I would have to tell you that it would have been the most boring photo because it's not me. And so the whole concept around the leadership was figuring out actually what is me, what is the way that I do it. And if you have a look at any of my stuff on my profile, you kind of get an idea of who I am and how I show up. But me sitting there with a cup, you know, looking all professional and stuff like, you know, I just often sit around with a cup of coffee and drink and stuff. That's not how I look at all. That's just like boring. So coming back to that whole leadership thing of going, so what is my leadership style? Is it more... Microsoft? Is it Google? Is it Amazon? You know, like all those different leadership styles, or are you like, you know, complete public service of having to, you know, check in at a different time and stuff like that? So getting that understanding of, oh, thank you, sister. Love the way you share your message. Oh, I just love you. Can you tell my husband that, because he just doesn't believe it.
No, he's watching.
He's watching. Brian, did you read that comment? Because that's. So for me, it was really just getting down to understanding that actually that's just not me, and I'm kind of quirky. I know it's hard to believe. Truly, I'm the quirky one in the family. So understanding that I'm a little bit quirky, that's okay. Elden's not quirky, that's okay too. Tries to be a hard head, but he's actually not, because he's here doing a live with me. So getting that understanding that sometimes leadership, particularly in the self, is just going, so this is how I am, and this is how I show up, and this is what works for me, and I'm okay with that, and I'm just going to keep doing that, and I can expand and I can grow and all that sort of stuff, but I'm going to find out what works for me in terms of my leadership. And you'll see from some of my posts and stuff, the last couple of photos, they're all me having a good time in the water. Like, you know, that in itself is just completely out of my comfort zone, because I don't like the water because there's things that live in there.
Swim like a rock.
Oh, mate, that's it. Well, you could tell in there that I was, like, the water was like this deep. I was sitting down, so it made it look like there was a lot of water. There's not a lot of water. I could literally roll. If something come along, I could have rolled out of the water. I'd have been safe. It was in the lake anyways, you know, but you don't know, like, I've seen movies, horror movies, that, you know, that lake.
That's how they get you.
That's it. Get complacent.
We need a word of the night, like that could be it.
Oh, that could be it. Last time the word was the permafrost. Permafrost. Miss Shelley. We had to Google it because, true God, we had no idea what that word was, and then we tried to come up with a sentence which we could put.
Brilliant.
We were just like, I don't even know what that means, but that sentence was like the best one ever. We were like, oh my God, that is so cool. We were like so bush pigs, true God. And then now, what was the word I said?
I don't know.
Oh, good on you, complacent.
There you go.
That's funny. Or like when you rolled off the bed. I literally, this is a funny story. I somehow rolled off the bed. I don't quite know why. And I nearly knocked the television off. And I stood up. And Eldean reckoned, wow. Like that's that face like, oh my God, how on earth did you just roll off the bed and nearly kill yourself because of the television? There was no sympathy. Oh my God, are you okay? Nah, that whole face, like, oh my God, what the hell is wrong with you? You nearly just, like, knocked the TV over. Again, not worried about me, no, worried about the TV.
How could you, there was something that's happened in your brain, and then you just brain fart, somehow rolled off the bed, boom, hit the dresser, TV was on it.
I was trying to be agile and roll, do a little, you know that when you do the tumbling thing and they go, I was trying to do that less gracefully and with a little bit more injury than, say, what was her name? The little gymnast?
I don't know.
Oh, come on, you know the gymnast. She's famous. Clearly not that famous. Nadia Comaneci. There you go. Like a cat. I know. I'm so agile. I think I have 9 lives. I only know the words from Frozen 2. Oh, I haven't seen Frozen 2, Jessica. I'll still have to watch it.
Haven't watched the first one.
We have to watch it. It's sad.
We will not be watching Frozen.
We will watch it. I watch. You watch like Turtles and stuff. Why can't we watch that?
Because of the Ninja Turtles.
And Peter Pan. So why can't we? You watch Pan? Same Zane.
No, it's not. It's Hook.
Hook, hands, Zane.
Anyway,
So we're talking about leadership. So do you remember what I was talking about before we went off on a tangent?
About getting complacent, or about the leading in different positions.
Hey Rachel, how are you?
Different leader.
Right. Hi Rachel.
Or talking about like who and how people are different leaders. Is that it?
I think so. I guess it's about understanding that you need to be okay with who you are and how you lead, and that comes back to that self-acceptance, because if you can understand who you are, then you're able to lead in that way, which you don't have to then pretend to be like somebody else. I've been on leadership programs where they say, look, just try on this leadership style. Try to be a different leader, which is really, really bizarre because you only know how to lead how you lead. So how can I try on a different leadership style when that's not my style? Yeah. Particularly if I'm a fairly happy kind of person. And with me, there's no hiding. If I'm happy, you're going to know it. If I'm sad, you will know it. Don't ever play poker with me, because I can't hide my emotions on my face all the time and in my hands, like I'm moving all the time. So for me to try on a different leadership style, like yelling or like whatever, it doesn't work for me because that's not who I am. And so I'm not going to pretend to try on a different leadership style because, you should, to see how that works for you. At no point in time, unless there's a house on fire, I'm not going to be yelling at you. I do have hashtag Staunch Sisterhood, which is all need to join. Hashtag Staunch Sisterhood. And I feel like I am hashtag Staunch Fairy Godmother, so I can see. No, it's true. I feel like I'm a staunch fairy godmother, and here's why. I'll tell you this, right? True God. See, why would you do that? I feel it in a good thing, because I will support you to the hill, and I will just be there, and I will walk beside you and help you in every way I can. But I will call you on your bullshit. Because if I can see your story, and if I can see how you live in that story, and it's holding you back, then I'm going to be telling you, actually, no. So that's why I feel like I'm the staunch fairy godmother. But you do need to, understand the hashtag staunch sisterhood. I can't believe you did. I love that. need a T-shirt that says hashtag Staunch Fairy Godmother. Like, how do we make a T-shirt? I need to make a T-shirt. Does somebody there know how to make T-shirts? Can you like hook me up, because I need like hashtag Staunch Fairy Godmother, because I think that's just the coolest thing ever. So I'm literally not going to yell at you. Like, I don't yell at people. So trying to try on that leadership style is not going to work for me, because that's just not who I am. Call Dion. Yes, brother, Dion, if you're still on here, I need T-shirt. I don't want one of those sublimated ones because they don't feel good. I want like a proper one. Like pretty one with a V-neck. Nice, like this material. Not that you can feel it, but it's that material, not that sublimated, because that doesn't make me feel good when I feel it. Anyways, so you need to figure out yourself what works for you in terms of leadership. What is good for you, what isn't good for you. And there's always a boundary in terms of leadership, because there's a boundary, I guess, in terms of everything, that you're going to need to step outside of that a little bit more, to expand that, to grow it, to try it, to improve on it. But trying to be something that you are not just generally won't work, because then you're just going to end up confused, and you're going to be like, actually, why did I even bother?
Yeah.
How do you reckon that you can use leadership to heal?
It's a good question. Leadership to heal, I think, is understanding your own journey and being a leader in that. So leading is, you need to make the tough calls. So a tough call could be, look, I'm not really address this within myself. So then actually go through, address it, and leaders just always want the best for themselves as well as for others. So if you're looking to be that leader in say your family, you can then do things, baby steps, to work towards getting yourself better. You may see some things in yourself that don't work. So again, take those baby steps forward to actually try and better yourself. So therefore, in that ripple effect, will then head off to your family, grandkids, great-grandkids. So.
Right, okay. Because it's interesting, because I think any kind of healing that you go on is leadership. You know, I think in terms of leadership, deciding that you're going to heal yourself is the greatest leadership journey that you can go on, and a great leader will always look to heal. So it's kind of like that double, hey Lexi, hey Bradley. So it's that double thing, that if you're aware of it, because there are people who go through the whole world, and I talk about healing because that's my thing. Like, I love, that's my jam on toast. And so, for me, that's a huge thing. Whereas if you're aware of what's going on for you, leading in terms of being able to heal yourself, and then also healing yourself as a leader, is a leadership, because we go on this journey, and then by proxy, I guess, we have people around us who go, oh wow, they're like healing and stuff, that's great. Yeah. And so I want to watch them, I want to follow them, and all that sort of stuff.
So not like you wouldn't, it's not leading, it's leading, but within yourself, and then others will then follow you. So it's leadership in like that roundabout way kind of thing, but definitely all comes and starts with you being a leader and recognising your shortfalls and shortcomings, to then step up and want to do that if that's the leadership role you want to step into.
Absolutely. Oh, I've always said that we have all been affected by some form of trauma, grief and loss, but we need to be aware of what's the healing process. A leader's job is to pay attention to what other people say, especially those who think their views don't count. Absolutely. I was on a Zoom. I did a Zoom training for 2.5 hours last night. I spoke. Hard to believe, I know. Right? And I was training a group of university students. And we was talking about that. Everybody's been through trauma. Like everybody. It's a different kind. There's different kinds of trauma. There's different levels of trauma. There are different ways and time frames of people healing. But everybody's been through trauma. And so it's about understanding that we could go through the exact same thing and we're going to respond to that trauma completely different because of our past experiences, because of what we've lived through, because of different genders. So it's going to be completely different. And so having that understanding that, there's nothing worse than people say, well, it's no big deal. Yeah. Really? Like, that was such a tiny thing. You're not over that yet? Come on. Like, that was a long time ago. That's just so not helpful. People need to have the understanding that it's a process that you need to heal through, but also have understanding that other people are going through their own stuff, and from that stuff means that they're going to show up healed through a process of sometimes needing things to move faster or slower, but having that understanding. And one of the things that I also know, particularly in terms of great leadership, and I do this when I train, is that it's usually easy for there's always a portion of people who speaking comes easy to. There's always a portion of people who are happy to share their views, who don't mind having a voice, who actually love having a voice, who just give them an opportunity and they will take it. And if you don't give it to them, they'll take it anyways. They just want to share all the time. And then there's always a group of people who want to voice but just don't feel confident. They don't feel comfortable. They need that. They need that support to be able to do that. And what I know as a trainer is that if somebody says something and they're not acknowledged, they're not heard, they're not recognised, they will generally, this is a general term, they will generally come back and say something one more time, and then if they are again not acknowledged, not heard, they will generally withdraw and go, that's it, I'm done. I tried twice, they didn't hear me, I don't care, I'm off. Howdies, like patches. And so as leaders, it's really important, as facilitators, as friends, as parents, as co-workers, as bosses, all that sort of stuff, to be aware that for people who have a voice all the time, that's great, they've got no problems. But you'll find people who are wanting to have a voice. In terms of leadership, they need to learn how to be able to share that voice, and the sharing of that voice comes from being able to have a space where a leader or a boss, even a co-worker, says, I got you, say that again. Listen, you followers, so stop now, go. And so just having that space where you can go, actually, I need to say this, and then I need to say it again, and then I might need to say it again, and I might need to say it again. But having that understanding that sometimes, you've got to say things with your knees shaking, because it's not easy to have a voice. And so in terms of leadership, that can help people to heal, because you can hold the space for them to go, hang on a second, what did you just say?
Yeah, 100%.
And, where the different styles of leadership come in with that whole, authoritarian, and that can be challenging, because if you're telling people what to do, they don't get to have a voice. Yeah. So how can I learn?
There's definitely pros and cons to
that
as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to apply pros and cons for
absolutely. If you're in the army, you need to have an authoritarian. You can't be like, okay, so Eldean, do you think we should go towards that? It's just move.
Yeah.
So we get that. But it's holding the space in the context. Yeah, I guess it's context specific.
Everything's context specific.
To be able to have that understanding that people need to have a voice. And there are a whole lot of people who don't have a voice. And then when you think about in terms of growing up, there is a whole generation, not so much now, but for my generation, we grew up with kids are seen and not heard.
Yeah, at the old school, when everyone was around at Christmas, you'd have the adults table, and your kids that were 17, 18 or under, they'd be there, they'd have to look after the younger ones. So it was whatever the adults were doing, they were doing their thing, and kids were off doing theirs, running amok as kids do. So
yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
You've got a question.
Yep, so Louise says, any quick tips for when your own headspace is not in a good place and you need to just go for a walk and get your mind right so you don't affect your team? Like some self-talk?
Ooh.
Great question. Louise, you are on fire. Absolutely.
What have you done when things aren't working?
I know that... for me, it works well to be able to, and I guess again, this is context specific. Because if you're a part of a team who are a-holes, then it's going to be challenging for you to get them to understand you and stuff like that. But I know that when I was a part of a program, I had to voice, actually, this is how I'm feeling. And so for me, the two of the things, if you come to my trainings in the room, like you learn heaps of stuff about this, but two things that I would get you to do is to think, so how am I feeling and what do I need? Now, good, fine and okay is not allowed. They are not feelings. They're not even a description word because they're just pretend. So how am I feeling? Even if you can't come up with a word, come up with a sound. Like, I feel, like a sound gets you to a space of, okay, so that's getting energy moving. So then what do I need? Do I need to go for a walk? Do I need to drink some water? Do I need to sit under a tree? Do I need to do a star jump? Do I need to do a push-up? Do I need to side slap someone? Can't do that because that's not allowed in the workplace anymore. What do I need? Do I need to ring someone? Do I need to yell? If you come back to, and we as a society, particularly during COVID, haven't done this well, coming back to how am I feeling right now? Because we don't want to feel stuff because it's easier to medicate socially acceptable medications that we take, like, food and coffees and alcohol and all of those things that we take that are socially acceptable. They're what we use to self-medicate. And so coming back to, I don't actually want to feel anything because I don't know what to do with that feeling because I've been numb for so long I don't like it. So what am I going to do with this? Well, actually, how do I feel coming back to, okay, so if I know I'm feeling horrible, if I know that I'm feeling unseen, if I know that I'm feeling disrespect, like if I'm coming back to that feeling, then I can go, okay, so what do I need? I might need to have a conversation and say to you, I just need you to know that I haven't felt as though you've seen me or that you've respected me. And then the other person might be like, what the hell, are you on drugs? Like, I don't even know what you're talking about. That's up to them. But if you can then go, this is how I'm feeling and this is what I need, then you then take back that responsibility to go, okay, so what do I do with this? What can I do that? And think about in your head what works for you. We have a couple of sayings in our family which are, everything's going to be okay, and if it's not okay, it's still going to be okay. And we have literally lived through that with all of the stuff that's going on in our family. It may not be okay, but it's going to be okay. Figure out what works for you. When I was doing the leadership program, I had to trek for 3 days across the country. I had to carry the pack on my back. It was the worst friggin' 3 days. Well, actually, it was 12 days, but the trekking part was 3 days. It was horrendous. But all I kept doing was, I kept saying in my head, because I was thinking about Son when he went marching with the army, and I would just say to myself, just one more step. Just one more step. If Son can do this, so can I. One more step. One more step. If Son can do this, so can I. And then I would say all day long. All day long. And so I kid you not, for 3 days when we walked, that was my mantra all day long. Son can do this, so can I. Just one more step. And that worked for me. Find out what works for you. You might have a saying that somebody had said. You might have one that you live by, because you need to interrupt that state. And for some people, like doing the whole Tony Robbins thing, you can be like, yeah, come on, stuff. For other people, that don't work. So you need to be able to do what is right for you. And you'll know that if you come back and tune into how am I feeling and what do I need. And it's very basic because all you have is right now. So bring it back to the second of what do I need? How am I feeling? And so you're in the moment to then go, because you have to tune in. And so all you are is right here in this second going, how do I feel? Even that can shift it, So can you feel the energy shift just by exhaling? That can be like that. Taking tons of notes. That's so cool. Oh, bless your soul. That's just wonderful. I can talk about this stuff for hours and hours and hours, as some would know. What do you do when because you were in the army? So what did you do when you were in the front?
It would all depend again. Context specific. If I would just try and run.
Okay.
Back at the start, there was I've always had something about running has just been really meditative for me. I could chuck on headphones and I could listen to an audiobook, I could listen to music, and I would go run 1k, run 2k, and I would time lapse out of it, and then when you do things, you get your body moving and release endorphins, everything like that. I start to feel better, so then that way I can come back, I can assess what the feeling was, backtrack a couple of steps to see if anything major had happened. If something did, I could go in, dive a little bit deeper to what it was, and if there was something I could change. If there was something I could change, I was in a better place to do so because I just ran, my body's feeling good, my headspace is clear because I'd meditated by running. I could come back to that specific point, clear it out if I could clear it. If I couldn't, that's something that I couldn't control, so I'd have to, in the best way possible, then continue to move forward. But exercise has always been my release to get me moving, to get me feeling better. Not just the normal the exercise. I need to push myself to the physical limits and be extremely gassed out, just brutally sore, so that I can be like, okay, my body needs to focus, or my head needs to focus on everything that's sore to get me off what was happening, so that once my body's taken care of, my head wasn't so focused on the problem, then I can come back and attack it if and when, however it needed to be attacked.
Some nuggets there, absolutely. Absolutely. And because usually all of the stuff that we're saying in our head is a story.
100%.
You know, is that true and does it serve us? You know, like we tell ourselves a story. Our whole world is based on a story. People like us, do they not like us? Am I safe, am I not? So everything is basically a story. Thanks for your comment, Louise, that's awesome. Chance what you think, that's awesome. You know, so the story, does it serve you? And the great thing about this stuff, and the thing that most people don't do, is it's about radical self-responsibility.
100%.
But most people don't want to. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do the work.
It's hard work.
Hard work.
It's hard work. It's lonely.
Yep.
It's exhausting.
Yep.
And you're going to be more in those times of where you're going to be alone. So when you're alone, what's the only thing that you have? You have your mind, you have your self-talk. So you need to do things to try and take your mind off that.
Mine's a novel, Michelle. Absolutely. Whatever works for you. And that's the thing. Being okay with what works for you. Like we have this thing, I just want to claw my face off, because it's like this guilt and judgment we have about doing like what feels good for us and like what's our nice thing. And so it's almost like if I'm not getting to the end of the day having given to everybody else and done everything that makes me unhappy, well, I just don't deserve to draw breath. And it's just so crazy because we can only give once our cup is full, and if our cup is not full because we give to everybody else, we're going to be bitter, we're going to be twisted, we're going to be angry, we're going to like anybody, we're going to yell at the kids, we are going to be like locking the dog outside, you know.
And then when you give to someone, it's not at your 100%.
Freedom comes packaged up in the cloth of hard work, clothing of hard work. Oh, Christina, you are so right.
It's quite like that.
And nobody, that's not true. Very few people want to put the hard work in. Everybody wants the outcome. Nobody wants to put in the hard work. And absolutely, most people think that this whole self-healing thing is about drinking Mai Tais on a beach somewhere going, I wonder what's going on with me now. It's you in a fetal position, snot coming out, you know, the ugly cry.
It's your old mate from Shawshank Redemption, you're breaking out of a prison.
Yep. And you're
for
crawling.
5 years with a tiny spoon, chipping away at the wall. Once you break a wall, you've got to break the pipe. Once you break a pipe, you've got to climb through 3 football fields of human doo-doo.
Yep.
And then you've got to get away. So you need to do that, but I like that quote.
Absolutely.
Solid quote.
And it's true, because we don't want to, they want a magic pill. Absolutely. And, you know,
by design,
we are instant, boom,
yeah.
I want it. And we go to things like, or we see people like Tony Robbins and, you know, NLP, and I love NLP. Like, I think that things work for you, absolutely fantastic. But there's this whole boom, 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 I need to be done now, I don't want to go there, I don't want to think about it, boom, let's go. And so that emotion is still going to be stored in the body. You might be thinking that it's actually like up here, gone. It's still in the body somewhere. And so just be very mindful, because if it was able to be moved so quickly, there'd be no health issues at all.
100%.
You know, so just I think people now don't want to get to that whole, this is yuck, and I don't really like the feeling of it, which is why addictions are so huge, and why there are so many socially acceptable addictions.
Everything is so readily available.
Everything is so readily available. Like, it don't matter what time of the night it is, you can have somebody deliver you food. Oh, love you, got to put the kids to bed, hugs and kisses to them and you as well. You see? There's so much to be gained by moving through it. It's very powerful. Absolutely. And you know that because you've done the work. Usually it's the people who have done the work who can talk about that, and then people who haven't done the work are like, why would you want to do that? Like, this is stupid. Like, all this new agey and it's airy-fairy and stuff, and, you know, like...
Why would you want to put yourself... Because
why would you do that?
Yeah, why would you do that?
Yeah.
It's that tribe mentality, and when you try and step away and you better yourself, that shines a light on everyone else. That's may not be doing as good. So
absolutely. Miss Joanne says, just understanding yourself is a great way to self-care. In our teams, we have code words that enable each other the opportunity to remove ourselves or even show up to certain events and meetings. These code words also trigger other members to do welfare checks on each other when necessary. Example, we have team meetings where we grew team members who grew up in institutions, so they come to a meeting, we strategically sit them near the door, and if the door closes they cough, and we know that they are not in a good place, and we cover them. Oh,
awesome. That's
brilliant.
That comes back to solid. That's what comes back to everyone being a team leader, or everyone being a leader, because you have the team who put that in place and the members coming together. Then you have the person who may not be feeling the best, who is sitting by the door, and takes a lot of nerve to say this, like, to people, look, I'm not okay. I need to bounce for a quick minute, regather myself, and then come back in if they choose to come back in at all.
Absolutely, and that is so fantastic. Not only because as a team that you're there to support them, but for that person to say, you know what? Cough, like, I'm not okay. Yeah. And that's that whole, how am I feeling and what do I need? They're feeling horrible. They need somebody to cover them. They cough. Like, that is true leadership. That's healing. That's just like high five. High five.
That's leadership.
That's leadership. Like, that's
top down.
And we seem to think that it has to be complicated. Yeah. Like, it has to be really technical and stuff. Like, that stuff right there. That's brilliant. I hope that you help your clients to have that as well.
Yeah, I love that.
You know, that would be so cool. Yeah, I think the team leaders lead from the back and know and support their teams. That's just brilliant. Yeah. So cool.
And being in different spots in leadership gives you the ability to see different aspects of your team. So if you're always at the front solely focused, you can't see what's happening with the rest of the team. So being in the middle, you can work with the team a little bit more. Being at the back, you can oversee what's happening and who you've delegated to lead at that time. So
absolutely,
that's brilliant. I love that.
No, that is so good.
Definitely something for us to take away.
Most definitely. And the thing about leadership from the back as well is that other people set the pace.
100%.
You know, so when you're marching. Yeah. And again, I only know that 3 days, and I was one of the slowest ones. Yeah. So I was leading at the front because I was pacing it. Because if I was at the back, they'd have left me. Yeah. But again, they was never going to leave me because we were a team, we were by ourselves. Yeah. So it's that whole having the team take care of each other. Yeah. You know, so you lead from the front. And the other thing that we did really well is everybody had a role in the team. So there were 6 of us. Everybody had a role. My role was to literally survive. I'm not even going mine like? Like mine was just keep walking. I'm dying.
One foot in front of the other.
That was it. One foot in front of the other. That was literally my thing. That's all I could do. But people had roles in terms of, checking the water, making sure we all had water. We would have a chugging party, so you'd have to stop and everybody would guzzle. People had to, there were a couple of people who were all about the navigation, so where we were going and stuff. And so, like, people had a role. Somebody else was involved in making sure that everybody was okay. I was never okay, so there was a constant, Karen, are you okay? No, I'm not, but I'm going to keep going. So it was that sort of thing. But it's understanding that everybody has a role, which is fantastic. So I so love that. Miss Louise says, any self-care tips for leaders so I can be at my best in the morning for my team? Show up like truly how you are. Understand that people are going to be watching you, particularly in COVID. Like, this is a completely different situation that we're currently in. So everybody is feeling incredibly fragile. We're incredibly confused. Life is really weird. I actually don't mind staying home because I'm a shy introvert. I wouldn't believe it. I'm an introvert, so I don't mind staying home. Like, I've been at home for, how long have we been in lockdown? I've been out like twice, I think.
Something like that.
So like I'm okay. For a lot of people, it's not okay. So you turning up and going, checking in with yourself to figure out how you are. Are you turning up positive? Are you reading the team's energy? Most of the team is now checking in on Zoom and stuff. Like, how are people really? Is there a safe enough container for them to say, I'm feeling like crap today? But I would even start to look at implementing Joanne's suggestion on code words. So, and email everybody, even beforehand, and go, we're going into the meeting today. The code word for if you're feeling antsy is crocodile. So put crocodile in the sentence. Oh my God, did you see the crocodile? Then you know, oh my God. So Sally's feeling a bit antsy today. I'm going to, help her or... and then you can say, Sally, how you feeling? If Sally says I'm fine, you know that Sally's not okay to share. But if Sally says, actually, I'm feeling a little bit antsy, well, thanks for telling me that, Sally. Do you want to tell us why? And then Sally might tell you or she might not. But you know your team, you know what works for them, so being able to come up with something like that, check in before and after. Again, I don't know how big your team is, but your team will follow you. So where are you leading them? Like, are you leading them down the path of, life sucks and I hate everybody and I just want to lay in a ball and eat Nutella? Or are you going to be like, so this is a really yuck time, and name what's going on. This is a really uncertain time, and I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to feel, and I have 75,000 different emotions in the space of 5 minutes. So that's okay. So just, I want you to know that as the team leader, understand that it's okay. So giving people permission to be able to name what's going on for them. And I would suggest, like I said, in my trainings, good, fine and okay are not allowed. So when I say to you, how are you? And you say good, fine and okay, that's not allowed, and we will come back. And I will say to you, pick another word, how are you feeling? You would not believe the amount of people who go, I don't know. Can I Google it? No, you can't. I'm just not sure. So that in itself lets you know that that person has disassociated from themselves so far that they can't even tell what's going on. They don't even want to go there. That in itself is telling you a whole lot of stuff about what's going on in their world, and then you can help them. So,
100%. What solid morning routine's always pretty good as well.
Oh yes. Absolutely. Do you have a morning routine?
I don't at the moment.
Yeah, me neither.
But I obviously, again, going back to the army, first thing, get up in the morning, obviously shave, do all that, PT straight up, and so that was one way for us to get the body going, to get you in that right headspace. If you weren't in the right headspace, you could, like I said before, a lot of people in the army, their go-to when things aren't okay is fitness, is to be put in that physical pain, because that's something that you can control, is I'm putting myself through this. So that was our morning routine. So I would suggest a morning routine and just check in with yourself. How am I feeling today? I'm feeling pretty crappy. Why? Yeah, last night I ate McDonald's. Well, that's going to have like a biological effect on you and your system and then the way you think. So just try and control what you can control. If you can't control it, don't worry about it because you can't control it.
That's exactly right. You know, and there's no point in beating yourself up. I had McDonald's last night.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel crap today, but gosh, it was so yum last night. Okay,
all-
well, drink an extra bottle of water today.
That's
Like,
all.
have a salad for lunch or something. Like,
Unless you like to be that super dialed in, life is about balance. So you can't have one, like, if you pull a sling, it's gonna rebound back the other way. So that's why it's good to have that balance around.
absolutely. You know, that balance, like you said, is just so incredibly important. And again, bringing it back to leadership is figuring out what works for you. I said the other night, I heard a rumour that there's 4:30 on the clock. I don't see it. I don't know. People want to join the 4 o'clock club. You get up at 4 o'clock. Why would you do that? I can't. Even sunrise, it's always up by the time I get up. But if that works for you, get up early. Like, if you want to be one of those people that get up at 4 o'clock, you want to meditate and you want to read and stuff, if that works for you, then do that. Don't judge other people that don't do that.
Yeah.
But if it works for you, great. It don't work for me. Like, I'm a night person. I can work through until 2 a.m. 12 o'clock, I'm still good to go. That works for me. Trying to get up at 4 a.m., oh, Lord, no. And it's so bad because lots of stuff happens in America with coaching calls and stuff like that at ridiculous o'clock. I ain't never going to get on those calls. I'm telling you right now, I will watch the replay. But don't have the judgment around, I should be getting up at 4 a.m. and going for a run and meditating for an hour and chanting and journaling and having a cup of cacao and all that sort of stuff. Actually, no, I get up. Brian drains out because he has dialysis. I have a cup of coffee. Don't talk to me. That's it.
But then again, you need to try it. Like, you've obviously tried getting up at 4 o'clock and you're like,
Yeah.
that's not for me.
Yeah, no,
So
I've done that.
You need to go through it. Once you tried it, okay. 2, go back a second time to be like, is this really for me? If it is, awesome, keep going, switch on, dive into it, lean into it and go, keep going. But if it's not, like, that's cool, like, go and find something different. Again, find your lane, find your superpower and then go hand with it.
Absolutely. Whatever.
Let's go one more on the wall.
Okay.
One more. How do you think your values affect your leadership?
Oh, love that.
Kick it off.
Well, the way in which you lead will always be based on your values.
Yeah.
You live your life. You make every decision based on your values. And if you attempt to go away from your values, you will struggle. If my highest value is family, which it is, it's very high up there. My highest value is family, and I take a job where I have to be away from my family 4 days a week. Do you think that I'm going to end up resentful? Do you think I'm going to end up missing and jaded and burnt out and bitter and stuff? That goes against my value. And the thing around values is they're very easy to find because that's your non-negotiable. What are you non-negotiable about? What is your line in the sand? What is the thing that you are willing to fight for? That is, for me it's family, for me it's loyalty, incredibly loyal. Like, I will be loyal to the end. And if my loyalty to you, if you break it, we're done. That's it. I love you, but we're done. So my values is very high on that. So when I have people, and I struggled in terms of close female friendships because that was my value for loyalty, and that loyalty was broken, I was broken. And I didn't know why at the time because I had no idea about values. Nobody talked to me about values. So values in terms of leadership, that will be your highest. If your highest value is connection, then you're going to lead in the way of making sure that everybody's connected. If your highest value is success or excellence or whatever, your leadership style is going to be exactly the same as that. So, well, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a double-edged sword, and then if you have both, good and bad values, and then say the good values don't suit you or the bad values don't suit you in what you want to do, it's really hard to change the way that you view those values because those values are handed down from your grandparents to your parents and then to you. So coming back to your core values, at some point your values may or may not suit suit you. So you need to try and change your values to then keep going with your leadership.
Thanks, sis. Carly said this is gold. Do you think that your values change as you get older?
Definitely.
Right,
100%,
okay.
because as you get older, you don't, when you're at the kid table at Christmas and everyone's around and all the time, like, you just, man, I want to get to the adult table that looks awesome, it looks brilliant, and because they're having so much fun. And then all the time, once you get to the adult table, it's like, it's not really all it's cracked up to be, and you'd rather just go back to the kid table. Like, that's where I'm at. I'm never sit at the adult table. So once you get there, the grass is not always green on the other side, so you need to come back, always reassessing you, reassessing your values, and then does that fit in with you in the way that you're heading? If it does, awesome. If it doesn't, can you reassess it, remove it, change it in a way so that it does help you? If you can, awesome. If not, what do? Don't worry about it, because you need to push that aside. In the way that you're moving, it may be hard, but the way you're moving, you may need to cut that off and continue a different
Do you
life.
think that values are a coping strategy for stress, for life, for... Oh, thanks, Louise. Appreciate you being here. Louise said thanks very much. She's got to go. Appreciate you. Love you. Hope. Let me know how the meeting goes. I'm really interested. Hit me up. Like, I'm happy to yarn with you about it.
Coping strategy.
Yeah. Do you think that your values become like a coping strategy?
Yeah, I guess that if you don't, it's like I said, I find values in a lot of things in life is like a car. Like, if you don't keep coming back and you're getting the service, getting the fine tune with things, it's gonna fall down. So especially with values, like if you're you said your highest value or one of them is loyalty. So if you're loyal, continuous and utterly loyal to a person who's doing you dirty, at some point you're gonna have to come back and reassess that value of loyalty. Is it loyalty to them? Is it loyalty to you? Like, what's the parameters in loyalty? So you may be loyal to them, but the biggest loyalty is that you're not loyal to yourself, because that you keep putting loyalty on them, wanting it back in return, but it's never going to be there. So that's why you need to come back, get that fine tune, get that check in. You may need to obviously have that, like, reassess it and go back into detail. May need to go for a run, whatever it is, to try and move away, look at it from the outside, and then change it. And that goes for all values, I think, and just you in general as a person.
That's right. Oh, there's Scotty. Hello, baby. What's up, fam? Loving you. And that's it. Hello, Donna. Hello, Susie. We've had quite a few people jump on. Hello, Jen. And I guess that comes back to circling it all around in terms of leadership, 100%. Being able to check in, to go, is that working for me? Because if I'm loyal to somebody and they're not reciprocating, or that's a good word, they're not reciprocating that loyalty, then my loyalty is misplaced in terms of why, then being able to question, why do I keep being loyal to this person who's not loyal to me, and I'm not being loyal to me, so what am I getting out? So then you can unpack it to go, so what am I getting out of continually being loyal to someone who's disloyal? What story does that play out? What mode am I playing the victim? So, oh my God, like I was loyal to them, they weren't loyal to me. So then I can have a victim story. Brian saying, "What about me? What about? I don't understand what that is." Brian, can you please explain a little bit more? What I don't know.
Go and watch Netflix. Stop hijacking this.
So having that understanding about going, is that loyal? Am I not?
So you need to definitely come back and need to fine tune it, and it's not going to be just a one-off thing and that will be done for life. You actually need to come back and constantly check in on it. Yeah. Because people, like, it's when you meet someone, you need to keep coming back. Are they loyal to you? Yeah. And then your parameters on loyalty might change. You might give them 1 or 2 chances, whereas before could have just been one and done. That's it. And then you it either worked out for you, or on the flip side is that you could have lost out on something that was really, could have been really awesome for you and beneficial in the long run.
Absolutely. Miss Ellen, hello, how are you? Thank you for joining. Yeah, because it's all about, you know, leadership is all about checking in with yourself.
100%.
You know, that self-reflection, and we've talked about it here in that it's not sexy, and it's not fun.
It's the ugliest thing in the world.
Ugly.
It's the most, and can never give birth to a child, but I would put leadership and growth up there with like childbirth, because it's ridiculously painful.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, shout to me and go and wash up Eldean. He's got jokes. So, is there anything else you want to add? I don't know how long we've been going for. I can never see a time. I can never see a timing. So, like, I don't. Why is there never a time on how long we've been going? Can somebody tell me how long we've been going?
Probably a while.
Has it been like half an hour?
Probably been an hour.
Really?
Probably.
Oh.
A bit more.
Oh,
I would say.
okay. That's just because it, like I said, it doesn't tell me. On here, there's none. On here, it doesn't tell me, so I'm not even entirely sure. Is there anything else you want to add for people to take away? Does anybody have any questions as well?
No questions.
What? We've been going for an hour and 5. Wow. Thank you, honey. I had no idea what's happening.
People take away?
An hour. Thanks for sticking around, fam, and listening.
Yeah, for those
for little loyals who are here. I love you guys.
Big shout out. I guess the big thing to take away is that I would say 2 things. Is the ability to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable, in the terms of a leadership journey, because there are times where you just gonna have to suck it up and go through it when it's a horrible situation. And then, which ties right into my next thing, is that being able to come back in and check within yourself. Like, when you go through something pretty horrible and you didn't have a whole lot of wiggle room, to be able to come back and check in on yourself and be like, look, how am I feeling? Feeling pretty crap. Okay, why is that? Because I wasn't able to wiggle around and do what I wanted. Okay, cool, what did you learn from it? Good, the bad, take what you can and just use that in your next time, because you may get a whole lot more wiggle room, or you may get less. So being able to take away what you can from every situation. That's what I'd say. What about you? 1 or 2. We'll go 2 things.
We'll go 2. Okay.
Let's keep it short, because we've been on for an hour and 5. That's long last time.
We did like an hour and 27 minutes last time, so this one is way shorter.
20.
It was an hour and 27.
27, hour and a half.
It was an hour and 27 minutes. Like, that's the absolute, like, proper was. Great advice, Eldean. Thanks, Carly. I suggest that people learn how to check in with themselves before, because we all have patterns. So if we can get used to checking in with ourselves about why we do it, and when we get to a certain point, before we get there, so even check in. So I know that if I go and lay down on the bed and watch Pride and Prejudice, because I absolutely love Mr. Darcy, I know that I'm taxed out. That's it, I'm done. Yeah. So if I'm going with my computer to lay down in the bed, that's it, I'm taxed out. So
don't tell me. Don't talk to me.
That's it. Like you just don't come near me, because I'm always in my office. So I know that if I'm heading in there to lay down, like, I'm taxed out. So rather than actually getting to that, and even I don't do that, but getting to that to go, So what could I have done before I get to that point where I'm actually taxed out? Or have I worked so hard and done so much that I'm okay to now go and lay down? I don't get to that point either. I just go, oh my God, I'm so hungry. Can you just give me something to eat? And I want chocolate, and I don't want chocolate, and I want like those high carb foods which just feed your soul. But then I know I'm going to be like feeling yuck later and stuff. So I know that when I head there, don't come near me.
Yeah.
So it'd be great even for me to be able to get to that point to go, I'm starting to feel a bit ick. So what do I need to do today? What do I need to do this hour, this minute, to help me so that I actually don't have to get to the point where I need to go and lay down? And sometimes you just need to. Like sometimes you just go and lay down. Mr. Darcy fixes everything. Like if you haven't seen the old Pride and Prejudice, don't even know this new stuff. What's her name? She was horrible. That little
I wish I would have taken her.
proppy thing. She was a little tiny. Oh, she's got a couple of names. She wasn't very good at it, anyways. The new one, she was not very good. So go and watch the old one with Mr. Darcy, the proper Colin first, because he's just to die for. So getting to that point where you're actually able to check in and go, so what's going on for me? So that would be the first thing that I would say. The second thing that I would say is stop with the judgment of yourself.
Solid.
You know, like we judge ourselves for everything. And then the minute we judge ourselves, we are then waiting for somebody else to validate that judgment that we're having of ourselves. So we will then pick up on somebody else's judgment of us, which may not even be a judgment. We see it as a judgment because we're judging ourselves. We're looking for validation of that judgment. So we're just going to take everything somebody else says. It could even be like a little side eye. Look, that's a judgment. Why are you judging me? Why did you do that for? You just think I'm horrible, don't you? See how you go on? Why would you be like that with me? And so you go on this whole story. Not helpful. Not helpful. So check in, like, why am I judging myself?
Yeah.
Is it
Check in.
underneath it?
Checking in your green area of how you're feeling. In the yellow, what's going on. If you get to the red, obviously checking into red, and then why you're there. Did you tax
Absolutely.
out because you were just going ham, or is it because you didn't check in at the yellow, do a good enough job, and you just let it slide from there? So.
Absolutely. Miss Maridas, thank you for joining. Michael and Lynn, hello my brother, hello my sister, thank you for joining.
Just
Carly
at the
says,
end.
oh God, so true. I know, right? Like we just make it so complicated for ourselves.
We don't.
And it can be complicated, but it's not because it's simple.
Keep it simple, stupid.
See, and I don't even understand why they went with keep it simple, stupid, because that's actually a judgment. It's not nice to call somebody stupid. It's not okay. It's not okay because you call yourself stupid, but it's also not okay to call somebody else stupid. Why would they say keep it simple, stupid, when you say to somebody, you're stupid? That's not okay.
Probably because we try to overcomplicate it.
Well, you can say, keep it simple, sweetie.
I'm not saying that.
Or keep it simple, sexy.
I'm not doing that.
Keep it simple, you sassiness.
And just like that, we're going to wrap it up.
Keep it simple, superstar. Keep it simple, stud. Help me out here. Keep it simple.
It's a no from me.
Oh, why? Well, see how it's so hard to find good help
Apparently.
around here. Like I'm asking for an S. Keep it simple.
I've got nothing.
Oh,
I'm sure to think of the next one.
tough. Oh, Miss Hannah Kate. Hello, how are you? Love yous.
Cool. Let's wrap it up. That was.
Does anybody have any questions just before we go?
That's
Like
it.
we'll give it like a minute or so if anybody has a question.
Yeah.
Because we have been going for an hour. It just feels like 5 minutes. I can't
For
imagine
sure.
why.
No, it doesn't look like there's anything, but.
Because like we can talk about some stuff. Carly thinks we're very hilarious. I'm very hilarious. Thank you, Carly. I think that I'm funny.
Yep.
Really, you and this pen, true God. So if you have any questions, feel free to send them through. If you'd like us to talk mess about something in particular,
Specific topic, then by all means let us know in the comments or shoot a message through.
So, you know, I know a little bit about trauma. We've talked about leadership. We've talked about values. I mean, there's a whole lot of other stuff that we can cover. I have a thing up on the wall here. So, but if there's something you would like us to, Mr. Tremaine,
Hey,
John,
Tim, what up?
hey, and Russell, hello. So if you want us to talk about something in particular, then let us know. If not,
We'll just pick something on the fly.
we'll just pick it up on the fly. When are we going to do a live again?
We'll probably go down between.
Okay, so we're going a day in between. Live break.
But
So,
everything's all subject.
well, that's
subject to change.
Like if we get enough call out from our fans, like if we just get an encore, you know, like I twist his arm, like come on son. I am about to put into my yellow watch a slow with my boy. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Oh.
Good, solid.
Isn't
solid
yellow a show?
I'm about to check. I was going to check in or check put into my yellow. I don't know.
Check out.
Yeah,
And we were like, is she talking cryptic to us here?
check put?
Okay.
But awesome. Yeah, check
Yep.
out.
Thank you
Go
for
and do that.
sticking around and watching and stuff. And if you have any questions or whatever,
Let us know.
because we like to talk and we like to share, and hopefully, you know, we're sharing some stuff which is interesting for people, and we're hoping that you're getting something out of it. We're loving this because we're able to have dialogue. I probably talk more than you,
I would say so.
but only because that's what I do for a living. But I'm happy to talk less if you want to talk more.
I'm good.
Are you sure?
I'm
Because like I can talk less. Like I know it's
Can
hard.
you though?
I think I can.
I don't know.
The next time around.
We'll see. We'll put it to a time limit and see how you go.
Oh, that's a bit tricky.
That is gonna be a bit tricky.
Limit.
Yeah.
Yes, we will do that. So therefore, if I'm going to talk less, therefore you need to lead the conversation.
Okay.
So leadership. So I'm going to step back and you can lead it. And so we need to go for at least an hour. So I'm not going to lead the next one, the next one, because I've led the last two. So you can lead it and I will talk less.
Sure. Happy with that.
How fun does that sound? I'm so excited. So
Awesome.
fun.
Happy days.
Cool. So thank you everybody for joining.
Thank you.
I love you all. Give us a shout out. Oh, we should say share the broadcast because we like you to share, like it. Hashtag replay. Oh, most of them, like the gurus at the beginning.
We will come up with a hashtag because we don't have one.
Hashtag staunch sisterhood.
That's not it.
Hashtag staunch sisters. That's mine.
That's yours. There
That's
you go.
mine. We'll need to come up with a hashtag. Although hashtag Talkin Mess, that's not a good one. Talk Mess.
I know.
So,
We'll
we'll
think
come
of
up
a
with
few.
one. But
You can pick one too.
so we're supposed to say at the very beginning. If you're watching this live, thanks very much. I love you being here. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. Like we're so new to this.
We are.
Share out the broadcast to your friends. Send us a message if you have anything that you would like us to cover. If you have any questions, tips, tricks, solutions, questions, queries, all that sort of stuff. If you have anything negative to say, don't tell us because I don't like negativity.
Doesn't matter.
So I'm precious and fragile. Like don't hate me. But
I only post memes.
you only post. Well, you post those silly memes and they're not funny. So
That's true. I love
so we will be back.
in about 48 hours.
48 hours.
Give or
We
take.
love you and we will see you soon. Thank you for hanging around. See ya.